Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Olio. This is season 4, episode 1, and it is the first episode of Olio that is being both live streamed on YouTube at the time of recording, and is also being recorded, of course, and is made available on platforms where Olio has always been available. So I'm very excited to be here, to be giving this a shot. Olio has always kind of been the guinea pig for a lot of my ideas and things like that. Always first in line for me to kind of experiment with and try things out on. It's been around now for, we're going on 4 years or something like that of this podcast, even though it has undergone many different changes and, even complete genre shifts. So crazy to think about. With all of that out of the way, I want to start today off as we kind of always have, actually, and just have a little bit of small talk, if you will, about the ongoings in my life right now and just kind of where I'm at, what I'm up to today, and that sort of thing to kind of move us into today. So today is Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. And today I was actually supposed to go to a concert this evening in Boston with a friend of mine. And we found out yesterday that I'll just say for health reasons, it actually ended up being postponed for now, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure it'll be good whenever, because all the tickets and everything will remain valid. So it'll just be a little bit more of a build up, make it even more exciting when we finally do go see them. So that'll be really cool. Outside of that, honestly, I don't have a ton going on. It's been mostly work and some creative stuff. So yeah, overall, good things, all good things. So I have an interesting topic that I want to talk about today. This is much more tied to me personally than I think some of the other topics will be, or some of the topics in the last season of Olio were. But I hope that we can kind of spark some thinking and conversation around this. So for me, I'll say it right up front. I did drop out of college. I actually dropped out of college in December, this past December. So I had a semester of college, my in person, and then when that semester ended, the fall semester of 2021, I actually dropped out, and I've been here ever since. So there's so many things that went into that, so many things that are still, kind of percolating in my mind about it, and so I wanted to take the time today to kind of just break it all down with you, and yeah. So to start, I think it's actually worth going back a little bit to where my education kind of started, because I think that backstory is helpful. So I went to a private Christian preschool and kindergarten when I was a kid, and that experience was great. Everything I remember about it, super fond memories. I actually still help out there quite a few times through the year with different events and things. I play the piano there and help them with video stuff and all that kind of thing, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I went to a private Christian preschool and kindergarten. And then in first grade, I actually chose to be homeschooled. And my parents were on board with us doing that. Me and my 2 younger brothers all wanted to be homeschooled, mostly because we were Christian. And we, I think as a little kid, we wanted a safe space to be able to practice our religion and not worry about the judgment that can occur in a public school setting. So that's why we wanted to be homeschooled. Also, I think we just thought it would be fun. And we were right. Because we were right. We were homeschooled all the way up until 8th grade. My 8th grade, that is. Or I should say that was the last year that I was homeschooled, was my 8th grade. And homeschooling was a fantastic experience. It really was. Having the time to grow and foster my personality and my beliefs and my morals was all so nice to be able to do while being homeschooled, because I didn't have any outside sources kind of, twisting or changing anything that I might believe. It was very much, I very much got to decide how I felt in a way, which was really cool. And I'm really grateful for that. Because I feel like that doesn't always happen, especially for kids who aren't as confident growing up like myself. It allowed me to gain that confidence, being homeschooled, and kind of create my identity. So, I loved that. Now, in 9th grade, I moved into public high school. So that was the first time I ever rode a school bus. And the first time that I was literally the first time I went to public school was my 9th grade year. So crazy, culture shock a little bit. And my freshman year wasn't all that great. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't bad per se, but, it wasn't the best. But I had friends and things like that. So I'd say that it was pretty good. Academically, actually, the transition was great. In 8th grade to 9th grade, being homeschooled to public school, I think I was a little bit ahead of the curve in knowing most of the stuff, even a little bit more. Like some of my freshman classes were review for me, which was really neat. I'm really grateful for my parents and my mom especially. Oh, the amount of work that she did to make sure we knew what we needed to know. Really thankful for her and all the work she put in. So I loved being homeschooled, and that transition was, not the best, but not the worst. Then we moved into high school, and that was a whole whirlwind of things. Sophomore, junior, senior year, crazy. The pandemic hit in my senior year, almost at the end of it. So, it was kind of crazy. High school. I don't even want to break that down right now. That's beyond the scope of today. That's a whole nother ballpark right there. But yeah, overall it was like, I wouldn't say high school was bad, but it was meh. It was meh. We made it through, and I have a lot of fond memories from there as well. So, it was good, I guess. Then that brings us to college. So I applied to a whole bunch of different colleges. Now I wanted to stay local because I really never had an interest to go learn. I think there's a funny thing, some of my friends and things have been like, yeah, Elijah, you seem like such a good student. And, I don't know. I don't think I'm a very good student. I never have really had a drive to learn. There are some folks I know who are, so smart. Also, I think both of my brothers are like that. Logan and Cam, my two younger brothers, they are both so smart, and they have a drive to learn. Especially Cam more than anything. I think Camden, has a drive to learn, and he wants to learn more, and he wants to dig in deep and figure out, what makes things tick, I feel like. And he has a very, academically it shows, because he gets, very good grades. And so does Logan. They're both incredible. In high school and everything, I did get good grades. I just never had, it wasn't really a genuine effort. It was, but anyways, my freshman year of college was all remote. Actually it was hybrid at first, but I because of the pandemic and everything, it was making it difficult to even have that one remote class. So I just ended up going all remote from my house, which was actually great. The remote college was really good because I didn't have to go anywhere, and I could just, stay at home on my computer and do all my stuff that way. It was easier. Went to a couple Zoom calls throughout the day, and that was it. Not to mention I had my parents' house to myself at the time because my dad would go to work. My mom was working at the high school at the time. She still is, actually. And my two brothers would go to high school. So I had the whole house to myself in 2021. So that was cool. Honestly, that first year I was already starting to find things where I was like, okay, like my grades were actually really good that first year. And I was starting to find things like, okay, like, is this worth it? Even going into college, I was thinking, is this worth it? And now that first year was kind of, again, like bringing that up, like, oh, is this worth it? Is it worth, the money, the energy, everything that I'm putting in? Am I getting what I need out of it? Even though I was doing really well in my classes, I think that was part of perhaps the issue. And I'll break that down again in a minute, a little bit further. But it was tricky. It was already tricky that last year. So then we move into this year, fall of 2021. And I wanted to go to the dorms because I felt like, I was feeling really doubtful about college altogether. So I was like, maybe if I move into the dorms, I'll have that more complete experience and I'll feel more fulfilled through, everything that I'm paying and working for. Maybe it'll be more of a fulfilling experience if I go into the dorms. And I would say it certainly was. My sophomore year, the first semester of my sophomore year was spent in the dorms. And overall, the experience was very positive socially. Huge growth experience for me. I'd say the most I've ever changed in my entire life, personality-wise and mentally, is fall of 2021 until like now. So much changed in the way that I perceive things, take things in, and deal with things and emotions and all of that stuff. And people especially. Oh my gosh. So I had to learn to live with people constantly in college, and I'm an introvert. So all of a sudden, I was around people all the time, and living in the dorms was just like constant. I come back to my room after a really busy day and I'm met with people. If I want to go to the bathroom, like there's a great chance I'm going to bump into someone on the way and we're going to have a chat. And it taught me, how to navigate living in a situation like that, which was difficult at first. But by the end of it, like when I eventually moved out, it almost felt strange not having that anymore. So, and I think that's a really good thing because it's, I feel much more confident in social situations than I once did. Yeah, so that now kind of brings us up almost to the present, and the reasons why I decided to drop out. And that semester was the deciding factor for me. So again, socially was a huge success. I loved the social aspect of it, and I loved going out with friends. And like I know this is kind of strange for me to say, but I've never really had friends that I'm like very close with, if that makes sense. Because again, I'm an introvert, so I'm mostly very independent. I like doing things on my own and hanging out with a person who I haven't seen in a while, and then like, all right, now we'll, kind of good, and now I'll go do something with somebody else who I haven't seen in a while, and then kind of leave it be. But for the first time in college, in that semester, I had people who I did everything with. It would be late at night and we'd be hanging out, and then spur of the moment we would decide to go like drive somewhere and do something, and then come back and chat some more. And I don't know, it was a really crazy change. And that's something that I will always cherish about that semester. Probably that's what I'll cherish most about that semester. But academically, the issue for me was that my grades in college were really good. And again, I said this a little earlier for that first year, but this year was even further because I was starting to move out of kind of the gen eds and into some of my more major classes that were oriented towards that. And my major was communication arts. So multiple of my classes, I ended with a 100 or even higher than a 100. So like my video production class, I think I had a 100 in by the end of it. And that's supposed to be like the meat and potatoes of my, is that how that phrase is? The meat and potatoes? I don't think I've ever said that in my life. Meat and potatoes. I mean, it must be. Because that's like the bulk of, okay, anyways. Going on a tunnel hole, classic Olio tunnel hole. No, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah. The video production classes, and that kind of creative stuff was supposed to be the meat and potatoes of the communications art degree. And I was supposed to be learning from those classes, but I overall felt like more than anything, I was having restrictions and things placed on skills and abilities that I already had. And you know, when you're in a class and a teacher hands you something and it's like, it feels like busy work. To me, almost every assignment that I was doing in that last semester felt like busy work. So my grades were great because I was forcing myself to do it and I got everything on time and I was always putting my, best foot forward, but it all felt like busy work. None of it was interesting to me because, even for the video production classes, it was okay. We're going to teach you how to use this camera. And by doing that, we're going to give you very specific instructions on what to record, how to edit it, and, how to portray everything. And for me, I already am used to that. I'm already acclimated to using a camera, and I've used one for, as long as I can remember almost. Like I was a young kid starting to play with a camera, and I'm used to a lot of that now. So, and even video editing and things like that. Like I have those skills and abilities. I've filmed for a wedding. I've filmed for, different individuals and things like that. So, I was used to that. And so that was the main reason why I dropped out, because I felt like I was putting so much energy and money into an area where I wasn't learning, and it was frustrating to be putting all that money into a spot that just didn't feel worth it. So after that, I guess here I am. I dropped out. I chose to do it myself. There was almost no, I had no outside say in it. I kind of came to the conclusion myself. And honestly, it's been interesting because I think folks have asked me, it depends on who I'm talking to, right? But sometimes it's like, oh, I'm just taking a break. Or no, I'm taking a semester off to kind of feel things out. But, and then folks will ask me, okay, when are you planning to return and how's that all going to look? And to be completely honest, I'm not planning on returning. Now, just because I'm not planning on it doesn't mean that I won't. A couple months ago, I wasn't planning on dropping out either. So, so it could go any way, we take things one day at a time. But, yeah. And overall, after dropping out, the experience has been really good. Probably one of the best decisions I've ever made so far. I've been working a lot at the restaurant where I've worked out for a couple years. And I'm really trying to further my audio media, video, experience by, utilizing my camera more, utilizing the tech and the resources that I have more, and actually creating things that I want to create, because now I'm giving myself more time to do those things. So I'm just really thankful for that. And even if I do go back to college, it'll probably be for a different degree, if I do go back, because I don't know how much I can actually learn and pick up from the communications art area if I'm already kind of doing it. Maybe it would be a computer thing. I don't really know. But yeah, and pretty much the piece that I want to end on and kind of leave us with today is this last kind of section about support. Because I think it's a hugely important thing in allowing me to make the choice that I made to drop out. And I think all of us, need, it's a human thing. All of us need support from each other. And, the question that I want to pose to us, and if anyone's watching, feel free to, if anyone's watching live, that is, feel free to message me. Or if anyone is listening, just think about this, kind of meditate on this question. And do you feel supported, 100% supported in your choices and your decisions by your family, your friends, or even like just your peers or coworkers? Do you feel supported in the choices that you're making? If you do, why? And if you don't, why? Is it, that you feel like, other people maybe aren't thinking empathetically and, trying to put themselves in your shoes, and so maybe they're not seeing the whole picture? Do you think that maybe they, are trying to, but are just unsuccessful in 100% being able to believe in what, your hopes and aspirations are and what your choices are? Or on the other side of the coin, do you think perhaps that it's you, and maybe that you don't have faith in your own choices all the way, and so maybe you aren't interpreting, or feeling their support because you yourself aren't fully there? There's so many things that are wrapped up in that, right? If you feel supported or not. And for me, in this choice that I made, to drop out of college, I'd say that I do feel supported. And the thing is I don't, it's clear that not everyone thinks the same thing. So like my family, I would say, was, very shocked when I said I was going to drop out, but they were supportive. And I think they are 100% got my back, my family. And I think they do 100% support me, which I'm really grateful and really lucky to have. I'd say the same thing for my friends. 100%, I think they got my back. Now peers and coworkers and other folks, it's a different thing, right? Because like I mentioned before, there are some people in my life who have said, okay, that's cool, but when are you going back? Or, oh, like, are you sure that you really want to do that? Like, where's that going to get you? And kind of, with me trying to explain a little bit, just kind of ends on like oh, okay, like, and it's tough to say, right? Because I think there's a combination of all those things where perhaps, I'm not certain all the way, and perhaps, other folks don't exactly believe in that all the way either, which is understandable because everyone can, think and say and do what they feel. But in the end, for me, I think I do still feel supported. And that's what I want to pose to you again. If you're making choices and you're going through things in your life, do you feel supported? And, I would encourage you to just, again, think about both sides of the coin, whether it's other folks who aren't, or whether it's just yourself. And if it's a decision that you're fully committing to and you're really trying to make, I would say believe in yourself and, put your full weight behind it. If it's a choice that you're making, then like go for it, man. If you've thought this through and it's going to be healthy for you, it's going to be safe for you, and you're going to grow from it, because ultimately that's, I think, what matters the most, and that you're keeping everybody else, you're not being, affecting everybody else in a negative light, but you're just doing something for yourself. And like, dude, go for it, And of course, everyone always says like, and don't care what other people think, right? But I recognize that we're human, and that ultimately sometimes we do care about what other people think. Me too. So if you're not feeling that support, I'm sorry that, that's going on, but know that everyone, there is human compassion out there for you. And, yeah, you got it. You got this, put your full weight behind, everything that you do. And if it's not worth it in the end, if it doesn't work out, then like I said before, take it one day at a time. That's what I'm doing. So far, so good. So yeah. Looking through my little things here, that's pretty much all I wanted to really discuss today. I do think this has been a pretty fruitful conversation, and I'm really grateful to be back here for Olio. I think it's a great outlet. More than anything, it's a great outlet for me to kind of dump my brain out and kind of publicize everything that I'm thinking, and allow it to be more open, and me to have a more open relationship with you and with other people. So I think that's, I'm really grateful for that. And for those of you listening to this, I hope that something that I've said today has resonated with you. If it even hits one person and resonates just a little bit with one person, then I think the goal of Olio has been met. So, with that, thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Olio. Yeah, I will catch back up with all of you next Tuesday at 10 in the morning. Thank you. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.